Nice picture. Are my eyes just crossed?
I'd like to call to order the June 5th, 2018 regular meeting of the Bowling Green Board of Commissioners. I invite you to stand if you choose while Commissioner Perigin provides her invocation and then leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please pray with us if you choose so. Bless this meeting and give us wisdom to make the decisions that are best for our entire community. Guide us and give us the knowledge and strength to do your will. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Williams,
Here.
Commissioner Nash,
Here.
Commissioner Perigin,
Here.
Mayor Wilkerson. Commissioner Denning is absent.
Do you have any awards or recognitions tonight?
I do have a couple, Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if you'll allow me just real quick. Finance Department did receive the GFOA Popular Annual Financial Reporting Award again. That's this colorful version of our CAFR that we put out each year. I'd like to thank Aaron Ballou for putting that together. It's a good condensed version of our audit. Gives you a lot of good information with nice pie charts. We've gotten this for a number of years in a row, and it's just another good award that we get from GFOA, Government Finance Officers Association. The other one we did recently got was called, it's an award for exceptionally, let me read it off here. Excellence winners for exceptionally well implemented GFOA best practices. And we turned in one for safeguarding equipment assets with the physical inventory. What we do is we take an inventory. Well, let me back up. The best practice recommends that you do this every 5 years. We do it every 2 years, just to go around and check to make sure the assets that we have in our on our books actually exist and are still there, like the lawnmower or the tractor that we're supposed to have is actually still there. And so, again, Aaron, April, and Deborah worked on this, and every department chipped in. I'd like to just recognize all the department reps that volunteered to help us out with this. Kim Lancaster, Brenda Webb in Finance, Tiger Tooley in HR, April Starnes in IT, Josh Hughes in Police, Eric Scott in Fire, Courtney Howell in Public Works, Pam Hurd in Operations, Laura Brown in Fleet, Anna Maroney for Parks, Angie Taylor for Golf, Kim Rich for NCS, and our own Mike Grubbs for Convention Center. And they all tag teamed and helped put this together, and we got this award from GFOA. So I'm very pleased of the teamwork that was involved. And again, thanks to Aaron for kind of spearheading it, and thanks to Deborah Jenkins and for April Cosby to go out and actually audit and spot check these assets. So I think it's an important measure that we do every 2 years, and this is all tracked within our financial software. So we've streamlined it, and that's why we got that award. So
Congratulations.
thank you.
Fantastic. Anyone else on awards or
Yeah,
recognitions?
before I forget it, we have a couple of local teams that are advancing to state championship status, the Warren East Lady Raiders softball team. We want to wish them well, and the Bowling Green High School Purples baseball team. Good luck at state.
Anything else? Do you have any comments for us tonight, Mr. Miser?
I'd like to ask Brent Childers to come up and present our New Americans report that we received. We had a press conference on that earlier today down at the chamber. Very good information, and like Brent to briefly go over that with you.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager, Mayor, and Commissioners. Pleasure to be with you this evening. As Jeff talked about, we did a press conference this afternoon down at the Chamber of Commerce, but wanted to give you a brief overview of the brief and give you a little bit of history of kind of how this came to be. Several months ago, the City of Bowling Green, the Bowling Green Area Chamber of Commerce, and the South Central Kentucky Workforce Development Board partnered to do a request to Welcoming America and New American Economy for a Gateways for Growth challenge opportunity. And we were awarded a research brief, a tailored research brief. So what this is really a snapshot of new Americans that are here in Warren County. And I'll take you through kind of the data and the organization of the brief. I think you've all been provided with a copy of it that you can carry along with, and you should be able to see it on your screen there too. So over the past 30 to 40 years, our community has seen tremendous change. You can look out across and see the landscape of our community's change. There's now houses where I grew up cutting tobacco. There's now new commercial and industrial investments that did not used to exist. We continue to see that change almost on a weekly basis. We continue to see those investments being made. Thanks to the work of our partners at the Chamber of Commerce, we continue to see those announcements almost weekly, it seems. But there's also been a change going on over that same time period, over the last 30, 40 years, that we really haven't been able to see, and we've been able to see but not understand. Whenever our visual landscape change, we're able to measure that. We're able to understand what those investments look like and how they impact our community. But whenever the people who call Bowling Green home change, it's much harder for us to realize that change over a long period of time. But what we've seen is people come from all over the world that now call Bowling Green Warren County home. And they come from a variety of reasons. And this brief kind of gives us the background and the snapshot and the characteristics of the population that was born somewhere else and now calls Bowling Green Warren County home. For us, we're going to use the term New Americans. In the brief, there's a variety of different terms used. They all mean the same thing. But for simplicity's sake, I'm going to use the term New Americans. And what that really means is somebody that was born somewhere else in the world that now lives here in Bowling Green, Warren County. But I also want you to understand that this is not counting the children born in the United States in homes of New Americans. So the parents might have been born somewhere else, and now they have children that were born here. So this is just counting the parents. So the impact is a little broader. So the focus of this brief is really on workforce and economic development. That was the partners, the strategic partners that came together to solve this and really kind of package this brief together. So we've heard it said many times, we have over 6,000 open positions in the region. So what are our strategies to try to fill those jobs, to fill those opportunities that we have here in the community? And we feel like this is a population that could assist in that. So with that, we'll kind of get into the brief part of it. The brief really starts with a breakdown of population. So over the last 5 years, Warren County's population has grown by over 16,000. And you hear Bowling Green, Warren County being the fastest growing area of the state. So that wasn't really a surprise to anybody. We're very comfortable in understanding and seeing that growth. But what we found as part of this brief was 1/3 of that population growth came from New Americans. Somebody that was born somewhere else in the world and now calls Bowling Green, Warren County home. The population of New Americans over that same period of time increased 87%, nearly doubling in a 5-year period. So that's where we really start to see the impacts of that turnover. The brief continues to give a breakdown of country of origin, and what we see is that people are coming from truly all over the world. Top 3 countries represented are Bosnia, Mexico, and Myanmar. Those are 3 different continents that people are coming from that carry the greatest share of the population from their respective country. The brief then transitions from population into labor force, and we find out that over 64,000 people work in Warren County, and 1/4 of the New Americans living in Warren County commuted outside of the county for work, nearly 10 points higher than U.S.-born workers. So we see a higher labor force participation, but much of that is outside of the Bowling Green, Warren County area. To continue that, 13% of the new Americans in the region, this is the 10-county region, commuted outside of the region for work. Being near a state line border, we understand that there is competition from the northern, middle Tennessee areas along the interstate for labor, and we're seeing that being a destination and some other destinations outside of the region for those workers traveling to for their work. So we hope that this will also lead the Chamber and the Workforce Board to develop strategic partnerships to provide opportunities for the residents to fill the jobs that they're living in this county. We want them to have an opportunity to work in this county and work in this community. Move into spending power tax contributions. New Americans represent 9.3% of the county population and are 9.5% of the county GDP, which translates into a household income of nearly $250 million. That was billion with a B, with over $40 million being transferred to D.C. through federal taxes and over $21 million being retained here locally and in the Commonwealth through local and state taxes. New Americans have a higher share of the working age population and employed labor force, going back to the 9.3% of the total population, yet the working age population is 10.7 and the employed labor force is 10.3. So even though they are a larger contributor to the workforce population than they are to the total population. So you have, what that really means is you have a higher concentration of them in that age 16 to 64 bracket. The brief goes on to then break down by industry, and we learned that nearly a quarter of the new Americans are employed in, or nearly a quarter of the manufacturing workers are new Americans. So they're representing just under a quarter of the population that works in manufacturing. 1/5 are employed in transportation, 1/5 of the employees in transportation and warehousing, and make up almost 10% of those employed in construction, education, and professional services. Professional services would be those occupations that require a degree or some type of specialty license. So what this shows us is the variety of industries that the new Americans are a part of. It's not just focused in on one specific industry. There's a very broad breadth of industry influence there by the new Americans that call Bowling Green home. The brief continues about talking about labor force occupations and entrepreneurship, and what's special about this brief is it contains two profiles of new Americans that call Bowling Green Warren County home that have developed businesses employing nearly 200 people that continue to grow and invest. Both of them, their stories are shared here in the brief, and you can read along, kind of see their journey, but both of them are continuing to grow and expand businesses here in the area. Brief then continues into educational attainment, where we start to see slightly lower rates of bachelor's and advanced degrees, and new Americans under the age of 18 made up 10% of the students in the public schools. Keep in mind my earlier comment, this does not count children born in the U.S. to new American families. This is just those children that were born outside of the U.S. that make up 10% of the students in the public schools. Then starts to transition into some housing information. 2 out of every 5 new American households own their own home, and the renter households paid over $15 million in rent as part of their contributions to the local housing market. Over half of the new Americans are citizens or eligible to become citizens, and that's where you start to see the second profile of the other business owner. And with that, I will say that this brief will allow our city, chamber, workforce board to develop the partnerships to fill those economic opportunities and those 6,000 jobs and continue to grow Bowling Green, Warren County economically and to the level that we're accustomed to. And with that, I'll entertain any questions the commission might have.
Other than, I just, as we talked before the meeting, I appreciate what you do, what LEDA does, and what everybody involved in the New Americans program does. There are, without getting too far afield into political issues, there are lots of people who have varying opinions on immigration. And what I appreciate about the New Americans program is that the City of Bowling Green doesn't wade into the political discussions about that, and instead just focuses on ways that we can help people that are new to our community, in this case, foreign-born individuals who are new to our community, how we can help them become and live the American dream that everybody wants to live. And so it is, when it's reduced to paper, it looks simple, and it looks concise, and the reality is that there's a ridiculous amount of work that goes into being able to do that, a lot of understanding that has to come into play, and a lot of patience. And as one member of the commission, I appreciate that your department does it, and specifically that Leda spends her time doing that. Thank you, Leda.
Great report.
Thank you all.
Request approval of the minutes for our regular meeting on May 15th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Perigin, second by Williams. Any additions, deletions, corrections? Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Second reading of ordinance BG 2018-24.
Ordinance amending zoning ordinance. Ordinance amending Articles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and Appendices A and B of the zoning ordinance for the City of Bowling Green, Kentucky, is recommended by the City County Planning Commission.
Moved.
Second.
Motion by Williams, second by Perigin. This is second reading. Do you have any other comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Second reading of ordinance BG 2018-25.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning a portion of a tract of land containing 5.87 acres from HB Highway Business to LI Light Industrial located on Nashville Road, presently owned by JGL Properties LLC, care of Grant Lewis.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Williams, second by Nash. Second reading of the unanimous recommendation from Planning and Zoning. Are there any other comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Municipal Order 2018-86.
Municipal order approving the promotion of Leroy Alvey Jr. to the position of Crew Supervisor 1 in the Parks and Recreation Department.
Second.
By Perigin, second by Nash. Mr. Mizel.
With the retirement of Bill Sanders back in February, we had an opening as in crew supervisor in the cemetery division. We went out for advertising for recruitment, and we received 24 applications. 11 were forwarded to Parks and Rec for review. They picked 7 to interview. Of those 7, it was determined that Mr. Lee Alvey was the best fit for this position. Mr. Alvey was promoted to heavy equipment operator in 2008. He's been with the cemetery division since 1992. And I made him talk to him just briefly before the meeting, and I asked him to stick around for a while longer to help us out, and he agreed to. So we ask for your approval for Mr. Alvey. He's with us tonight in the back row.
Congratulations. Excited for you. Any comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Yes,
Wilkerson?
thank you. Municipal Order 2018-87.
Municipal order approving the probationary appointment of Michael G. Reynolds to the position of Irrigation Spray Technician in the Parks and Recreation Department.
So moved.
Perigin, second by Nash. Mr. Mizel.
Had another vacancy in the golf division, irrigation spray technician that came open back in March. We advertised publicly. We had 7 people submit applications. 4 of them were forwarded for further examination that had the minimum requirements. All 4 candidates were contacted for interviews. We had 1 that dropped out. We ended up interviewing 3, and of those 3, Mr. Michael Reynolds was judged to be the best candidate. Michael has worked for Indian Hills since 2014 as the assistant golf course superintendent. He holds an associate's degree in turf and golf course management from WKU and a pesticide license, and we recommend Michael for the position. He is here with us tonight, back in the back row.
Congratulations to you, Michael. Appreciate it. Any comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Welcome to slip out if you choose. Municipal Order 2018-88.
Municipal order approving the reappointment of Jeff Anderson and appointment of Mike Simpson to the Bowling Green Area Convention and Visitors Bureau.
So moved.
Second.
Perigin, second by Whit. These are recommendations forward to the CVB board at the request of the particular organizations that they're representing. Happy to forward them with any comments or questions. Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Municipal Order 2018-89.
Municipal order approving the nomination of Jeffrey B. Meisel to serve on the Intermodal Transportation Authority Incorporated Board of Directors and authorizing the submission of his name to the Warren County Judge Executive.
Second.
Williams. This is the city manager spot on the ITA. Like it or not, no comments. Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Municipal Order 2018-90.
Municipal order approving the reappointments of Sandra McAllister and Virginia Siegel to the Bowling Green Historic Preservation Board.
So moved.
Second.
Virginia's second. Reappointment for both Virginia's second term service on the Historic Preservation Board, which has some specific requirements with regard to interest in historic preservation, and we appreciate their service. Are there any comments or questions? Call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Order 2018-91.
Municipal order approving the appointment of John Sims to the Urban Growth Design Review Board.
Moved.
Motion by Nash, second by Williams. You can see from Mr. Sims, he's involved in remodeling and restoration, so he's familiar with building and construction, and this is part of the Urban Growth Design Review Board requirements, and I appreciate him participating and appreciate the service of Mr. Hightower, who served a couple of terms and is ready to be relieved of that responsibility. So thank you for your service, both of you. Any comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Order 2018-93.
Municipal order authorizing renewal of bid number 2017-55 for fire uniforms from Galls LLC of Lexington, Kentucky, and Nats Outdoor Sports of Bowling Green, Kentucky, based on unit prices.
So moved.
Second by Perigin. Mr. Mizel.
We went out for bid for the fire uniforms and their exercise wear and shoes last year, and Bluegrass uniforms, Galls was the low bid for the uniforms, and Nats received the bid for the exercise wear and shoes. We had an option to renew for 2 additional years. Both companies have agreed to lock in their prices for another year, and we are recommending to renew for an additional year with both Galls and Nats for these services. Supplies. Chief Colson is here if you have any other questions.
Questions?
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Order 2.
Municipal order authorizing the continuation of a contract with J&F Janitorial Services Incorporated of Somerset, Kentucky for janitorial services in the amount of $224,580.
So moved.
Second.
Perigin, second.
We entered into a contract with J&F for janitorial services back in 2015, I believe, or 16. This was a 1-year contract with an option to renew for an additional 4 years. Back in 16, we added the City Care Center, the clinic, for an additional $4,800. And then we also added in 2017 some work at the Fire Department Head Administration Building, which increased it by $13,520. So that took us to the $224,580 number. We are in agreement with them to keep that same price for the coming year, and we are recommending to go ahead and activate the renewal for this contract as well.
Comments or questions?
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Municipal Order 2018.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting bid number 2018-08 for Industrial Drive Stormwater Improvement Project from Charles DeWeese Construction Incorporated of Franklin, Kentucky, in the amount of $456,924.
Moved.
Second.
This is the stormwater project we're doing on the corner, I think it's the corner of Industrial and Dishman, around that area where it floods. This was just a straight low bid that we did, and Charles DeWeese Construction came in at the lowest price, and we were recommending them for this project. Greg is here if you have any detailed questions to ask about the project.
The location is not just the intersection, but there's a retention basin off on the right as you, is that part of it as well?
Right at the corner of Industrial where Modern Welding's located at the very end. So you go from Dishman down the hill, make a 90-degree turn on Modern Way,
Okay.
which goes out to the signal at Nashville Road. So it's that whole side down beyond Lee Brick and Block, Mountain Stone, and all those other places. Water ponding in the road. And actually, when it rains, it gets over the road in places. The ditches have been filled in, and so this is a stormwater mitigation project to take all that water down to that retention basin beside the railroad.
This would be paid for out of the stormwater fund.
Comments or questions? Call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Municipal Order 2018-96.
Municipal order authorizing continuation of coverage by HM Life Insurance Company relating to managed health care and specific stop-loss excess insurance for fiscal year 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Perigin, second.
If it's okay with you all, these next 6 items pertain to stop-loss coverage, our TPA contract, our employee health clinic contract, our promotional service testing services contract for police and fire, and then our premium renewals for the city as well as the convention center. And I've asked Mike and Dave to present.
Good afternoon. With regard to the stop-loss insurance, the city is self-funded for our health plan for employees and dependents, and we purchase insurance to cover our high deductible claims. Because we've had some high claimants, we moved to a $250,000 deductible last year. We've had good success with that, and our consultants went ahead and went for bids again this year, and we're recommending that we stay with HM Life or Highmark Life next year. The premium would only go up 8%, which we had budgeted 33%, so that was good news to us. So we're recommending accepting the quote from HM Life for next year. It will cost us around $466,000. But one of the reasons we went to the high deductible was to keep the premium low, because premiums can go up an awful lot each year. So by keeping the premium low, that helps cushion us in the future in case we do have a rate increase. So be glad to answer any questions.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Municipal 2018.
Municipal order authorizing the continuation of an agreement with Meritain Health Incorporated relating to employee health and third-party administrator services for fiscal year 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Perigin, second by Williams. Mr. Grubbs.
As part of our self-funded medical plan, we hire a claims administrator to manage the claims. We went out to bid in 2015 and selected Meritain to do that work for us. We're now completing the 3rd year of that agreement. They had a 3-year contract without any rate increase. They requested a 2% increase for this coming year. We've had some ongoing claims issues and other problems, so our broker is going to be working on putting this out to bid for us again with the plan to start a new contract in January. Meritain would be allowed to apply, but we also want to look at some other options with regards to how we pay claims, so that's why we want to go out for bid as well. But we're still going to need their services even if we change TPAs in January, because we'll have claims that occurred prior to then that they'll have to process. So we'd like to go ahead and continue the agreement for another year, and then we'll also go out to bid and see what happens.
Comments or questions? Call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Municipal 2018.
Municipal order authorizing the continuation of an agreement with Care Here PLLC for administering employee on-site medical clinic services for fiscal year 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Perigin, second by Williams. Mr. Grubbs?
The city decided to pursue having an on-site health clinic for our employees and dependents that are covered under our medical plan. Back in 2015, we went through the process of going through proposals and selected Care Here, which is based in Brentwood, Tennessee. We followed their specifications and built out the clinic that's in the City Hall Annex. We opened in January of 2016, so we're now finishing the second full fiscal year with Care Here. During this time and for the next year, they have not changed their administrative fee or costs. They also provided information this last year that the city saved about $154,000 by using the in-clinic services. Employees saved around $11,000 with the free prescriptions. And we've also moved some of our occupational medicine services that we've been paying for, such as pre-employment physicals, fire physicals, vaccinations. We now have the doctor on site 3 days a week, plus we have a nurse an additional 4 hours to do lab work. And we're recommending that we continue with Care Here for another year. Again, be glad to answer any questions.
I'm going to make a comment, since that's basically my doctor. It's excellent. They're great over there. Great, easy.
Call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. 2018.
Municipal order authorizing continuation of an agreement with Resource Management Associates through non-competitive negotiations for promotional testing services for the fire and police departments for fiscal year 2019 in an amount not to exceed $55,000.
Second.
Nash, second.
City contracted out for consulting testing services in 2008 for our promotional testing for both the fire and police departments. At that time, the fire department went with Resource Management Associates for their promotional testing. Since then, we have moved the police department to the same company starting last year. They pretty much provide full service for us. They provide the rating lists from which the written test questions come. They come on site, administer the written test. They provide the study sessions for the written test and the assessment center. They provide the assessors to conduct the assessment center, pretty much handle a good part of the promotional testing for us. We just completed the second year of police testing, and I believe it went very well. And they've already started work on our fire testing, which we'll initiate later this month. The municipal order refers to up to $55,000. That's what our budget is, because we never know how many candidates are going to test each year. I looked back this morning, and our last full fiscal year, we paid them less than $41,000. So again, that number varies depending on the number of candidates. But I do recommend approval, and again, be glad to answer any questions.
Comments or questions?
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Municipal order 2018-100.
Municipal order authorizing insurance premium payments to the Kentucky League of Cities Insurance Services for insurance coverages of general liability, public officials liability, law enforcement liability, automobile liability, and physical damage, property, and workers' compensation for fiscal year 2019.
Moved.
Second.
Mayor Commission. New for this year was the tasking of the city's was tasking to have the city's brokerage firm, Van Meter Insurance, to examine the market, to examine and market the city's account to determine if a more self-insurance type financing structure would be a viable option for reducing the city's overall total cost of risk. Following comprehensive data analysis and results obtained through VMI's marketing effort, the proposals received failed to depict the significant benefit for changing the current program structure. So at this time, we're recommending that the city retain Kentucky League of Cities as the insurance provider and stay with the same financing structure, which is a low or guaranteed deductible coverage for which the city is accustomed. Some of the highlights to share with the proposal is that despite increasing exposures, for example, we have a newer fleet, we have higher property values, we have additional police officers, and we have an increasing payroll. So despite all of those exposure increases, the city will keep the same plan as last year, and our premiums will increase only slightly. In addition to that, the city continues to do their part to reduce, the city employees continue to do their part to reduce the overall cost of risk by staying injury-free and by reducing and having less severe automobile incidents. And for this reason, while most other cities' auto liability and auto physical damage premiums will increase this year by 3%, the city will see an actual reduction. Once again, because the employees are keeping injuries to a minimum, the City of Bowling Green remains the best among over 350 entities insured by Kentucky League of Cities. This low experience rating saves the taxpayer thousands of dollars that would normally go toward paying premiums. And with that, I ask the Commission to approve the municipal order for continuing workers' compensation and property and casualty insurance coverage through KLCIS for FY19.
Comments or questions?
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
2008.
Municipal order authorizing insurance premium payments to the Kentucky League of Cities Insurance Services for insurance coverages of general liability, public officials' errors and omissions, buildings and property, and business automobile for the Convention Center Corporation for fiscal year 2019.
I'll move.
Second.
Perigin, second.
The Sloan Convention Center has its insurance with Kentucky League of Cities Insurance Services as well. Our property is insured for over $15 million, and we have $5 million in general liability and also $5 million for public officials liability coverage. This is in addition to the liability insurance that the management company carries on the building. Our premiums this coming year are actually going to drop 1.2% compared to this last year, and our premium will be just under $37,000, and therefore recommend approval.
Call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. First reading of ordinance BG 2018-26.
Ordinance adopting annual city budget. Ordinance adopting the City of Bowling Green, Kentucky annual operating budget for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2018 and ending June 30, 2019 by estimating revenues and appropriating funds for operation of city government.
Move.
Second.
Perigin, second.
Since it's been about it seems like forever ago since we presented the budget, but it's only been 3 weeks. But I just want to remind everybody that this budget is a $125 million budget for all funds, $74 million for general fund, and it's a balanced budget in the general fund. Revenues equal expenditures. There's no tax increases in this budget. There's no new.
What did you say?
There is no tax increases, and property tax, occupational tax remain the same. No new debt, and no use of any general fund balance to balance the budget. And that's all I have to say. We ask for your approval.
That term before.
I don't think there's anything else you need to say. Thank you.
Pulled a little Forrest Gump there, didn't he?
I like things simple, that's good.
That's right.
Any comments or questions?
One, it's okay. I've had several citizens kind of approach me on one item, and I'd love for Brent Belcher, little Brent, to kind of just outline what we're doing at the skate park and why we're doing it and why that's important to have done.
Commissioners, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. Mr. Meisel. About skate park, just to understand that there's no facility in the Parks Department that we have that is not maintenance. Everything requires maintenance, first and foremost. It doesn't matter whether it's a field, a court, a tennis court, a parking lot, a roof. In this particular instance, the facility was constructed and began operation in 2007. The skate park has been there, this is 18, so this is actually, it's going on its 12th season now. Number one, the good problem we have is it's highly used. It is a portion of the park that is used often, and it is, because of that, there's wear and tear. Second thing is the facility is prominently concrete, and anybody that's walked on a sidewalk, a porch, the earth has moved a little bit in 12 years, and so there are some natural cracks that have arisen over that time span. Considering it's a skate park, and we want to make sure the lifetime is extended more than 12 years and such, we feel like it's pertinent to make sure that the safety is of utmost, that the use continues. That is not a complete tear out and redo. It is a spot, I guess at some point in time, maybe spot, tear out, and reduce portions, meaning the skate park is combined with railings and stairs and ramps and angles to allow maximum usage, I guess we'll say, features. All those things have been worn at some level. Some of them are worn to the fact that a lot of the users actually like them that way because they're slicker. The railings they allow you to slide more. Doesn't mean that we have our original consultant architect, Lowson Associates and Wally Holliday, that have visited on site, and we anticipate a report from them to kind of highlight, hey, these are the exact places that we feel like need to be replaced, need to be looked at, and redone, if you will. Doesn't mean it's a complete redo, though. It is not. It is basically a spot section and redo to ensure that all the safety guidelines are met. That is our primary focus. That is our number one focus, and that is what the money is dedicated to. I will say, if there is any opportunities to, if you go by the skate park and you see most of the use being done near the fence, what I call the plaza level, which is the railings and ramps and things, we would like to look at if we can add some additional small square footage to add to that. That'd be great. If we can't, that's okay. But we want to take care of the safety portion first of the skate park. And I relate it to, we replace playgrounds typically about every 20 years or so. If you look around our community, there's a lot of playgrounds being replaced. Every field requires grass. Every roof requires repairs, and that's simply what this is. This is a repair of an existing facility to ensure that it continues for the use and capabilities for the generations to come.
I think I'd also like you to clarify that $400,000 is not necessarily what it's going to cost.
That is
an item in the
I'll
budget.
use a term that Mr. Grubbs used. That's an up-to cost at this point. And we'll start with our most safety-conscious areas of the skate park as it comes back in the report and work our way down. It is not intended to be a complete redo of the facility.
Can I make one more comment in regard to the fire station, the new fire station on Lovers Lane? Want to reiterate that we'll have additional information on that coming out as soon as we can on the details. But there was concern we were taking up a lot of park space, but we're going to keep that to a minimal impact as much as possible. We are not tearing down any playgrounds. We are not taking up any space that is currently really being used by any type of sport, whether it be soccer. There may be some slight change to a disc golf layout there, but we're going to keep that to a minimum. So just want to relay that to the public that we are going to try to keep that to a minimal impact to that park, and everything will be okay in the end. So.
Any other comments? Call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. First reading of ordinance BG 2018-27.
Ordinance relating to classification pay schedules. Ordinance amending the classification pay schedules G for general classified, S for protective sworn, D for department head management, and U for unclassified part-time employees, and authorizing pay increases for fiscal year 2019.
Moved.
Second.
This is the annual update we have to do to our classification pay schedule. Basically, it resets the pay ranges for the COLAs that were adopted with the budget, the 2.1% COLA that we were giving to the full-time employees for FY19. So it adjusts your the starting pay and the end of the max pay. The other thing it does, it adds in the new positions that were approved in the FY19 budget. So it adjusts for the 2.1 COLA, and also on the part-time side, it adjusts for the 25-cent per hour increase. And Mike Grubbs is here if you have any questions as to the other details that relates to this schedule.
Further comments or questions?
But it does require 2 readings.
Please.
Williams.
Yes.
Nash.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Municipal Order 2018.
Municipal order accepting the Intermodal Transportation Authority Incorporated fiscal year 2019 operating budget and financial statements ending June 30th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Perigin, second by Williams.
I've asked Meredith Rosansky from the Chamber to come, or from the ITA as well, to come briefly present the FY19 budget for the ITA. I've looked it over. Commissioner Perigin also sits on the ITA board. They're, I think, asking for a 1% increase in their operating budget, but I'll let Meredith present. Thanks.
Good evening. Thank you for the time to come before you this evening. Per the interlocal agreement that we have, we present our budget to you each year for your approval. It gives us an opportunity to give you an update on what's going on in the Transpark as well. So on the first slide, you'll see the map of the Transpark. So since I was before you last talking about the budget, Carter Lumber has located on Lot 15E, which is to the east of Bowling Green Metal Forming and just south of TMS Automotive. And just last week, we announced the sale of 12-1 to Crown Verity, and that is just north of the Bilstein property. So those are the latest announcements in the Transpark, but I would tell you to stay tuned because there are more things coming down the pike between now and the end of July. On our annual wage assessment, so this is our trend for the last several years, 2017 being a high point, and that's when Constellium was under construction, so a lot of work going on in the park then, as well as along with the connector road. It is sort of evened out more in 2018, 2019 until the new projects ramp up construction. Going into our budget, so this is our total of revenues. So you'll notice rental income, that's related to the houses that the ITA owns. Back when the property was first acquired related to the Transpark, several of the property owners that sold the land said, we'll sell you my land, but you have to buy my house too. So we rent those houses out until the property associated with them is sold on projects. Wage assessment, you'll see that sort of flattened out. Again, we had a peak related to construction. That's more evening out as we go through. Property taxes are related to those projects in the park that you're actually collecting property taxes on. There are a few that are under payment in lieu of taxes agreements, so they're not currently paying taxes as part of their incentive packages. And then lease revenue, we record at the ITA the payments on the bonds that the city and the county share. Without you guys, that park would not be possible, but the ITA does reflect the activity related to those bonds, so the 1.6 is the payment due in the coming fiscal year. Going on to expenses, you'll see our trend on that over time. You'll see the slight jump back in 2016. And that was when the ITA started taking over all of the mowing of the right-of-way. Prior to that, the city actually carried that. The ITA is now funding all of the mowing related to the park itself. You'll see the detailed breakdown of expenses. Just a couple items to note there. One on the management fee. We have a negotiated contract with the city and the county for 3% annual increases, so that's what's reflected there. And then professional fees, what makes that up is our legal fees, our engineering fees, and then our audit. So obviously the more projects we work, the bigger the projects, the more engineering and legal heavy they are. But that's a good thing. That means we've got money coming in related to land sales as well. And then property maintenance, again, you can see back in 2016, we didn't pay for the right-of-way mowing. Starting in 2017, we did, so that accrues for the increase there. I apologize, the top of these next two slides, the year is wrong. The column in the month year is correct. So this is actually 2017's. So you'll see that we ended the calendar year of 2017 at $267.5 million in capital investment in new projects in Bowling Green and Warren County, 823 new jobs. And then at the time that I had to submit this for the presentation, we were at $12 million in capital investment and 71 jobs. Based on we had announcements on Thursday, Friday, and Monday of this week. So we are now at a total of $32 million in capital investment and 116 jobs, with the addition of Berry Plastics and Crown Verity, which you'll be approving JDIP contracts for later on in your agenda tonight. So off to a really great start. Again, we've got some big announcements coming down the pike for later this year. So one, stay tuned, and two, thank you very much for the partnership. Without the partnership of the city and county, there's no way this park would be possible, and we would not have the growth that we have in this community. So thank you.
Meredith, I know in the overall scheme of things, it doesn't sound like much money, but if you go back to the farm lease amount projected for 19, it's about half of what it was in 18?
Because we're selling all the property into projects.
Okay.
So as we have farm leases on the vacant property, but as we're selling property to projects or donating property to projects, as the case may be for Bill Stein and Constellium, obviously those farm leases are canceled. And so until we start a new park, we won't have that.
Gotcha.
It's a good problem.
Comments or questions? Hard work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Yes.
Nash? Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Municipal Order 2018-103.
Municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute a lease agreement with Bowling Green International Festival Incorporated to lease Circus Square Park and designated streets for September 28th and 29th, 2018, and further waiving the normal rental fees for rental of Circus Square Park for this event.
So moved.
Second.
Perigin, second.
This one is just our annual event with the International Festival coming up on September 28th, 29th. Gene is here, worked on the agreement with him. Ask if he has any comments or y'all have any questions. I think feel free to ask Gene. I think we
Telegraph, the one question I have, this is over 2 days. This doesn't allow camping in the park like all our other parks.
Yes, and we already do have a park policy that prohibits camping in parks already. My understanding is, I think when you read the email, I think they may have somebody there overnight, but I gather that's a person who's going to be guarding the stuff that's there. So there'll be no sleeping, and we do not allow camping in our parks overnight already by policy.
Comments or questions? Call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Order 2018-104.
Municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute a lease agreement with Downtown Redevelopment Authority Incorporated to lease Circus Square Park for concerts in the park.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Williams, second.
Friday night concerts are coming up the whole month of July, whole month of August. This is another annual lease we do with DRA for those concerts. Again, Gene worked on this agreement. I'd ask him to field any questions if there are any.
Comments or questions?
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Municipal Order 2018.
Municipal order rescinding municipal order number 2018-72 related to ordinance number BG 80-4 and correcting an original KRS 81045 filing and adopting a modern and accurate legal description of territory previously annexed by ordinance.
So moved.
Perigin, second.
Going to make a valid attempt to explain this, and Katie may have to jump in here, but basically, the state did not like the fact that we combined two annexation cleanups into one municipal order. They sent word, so we are rescinding 2018-72 because it contained two in one, and your next couple of items will address those one by one. There were some other corrections we had to make to get in compliance with this KRS 81.045. Katie, do you have anything to add?
It was a filing of our territorial limits back in 1981 that was required by statute, and we're just cleaning that up at this point.
Call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson? Municipal order rescinding municipal order number 2018-72 relating to ordinance number BG 80-39 and correcting an original KRS 81045 filing and adopting a modern and accurate legal description of territory previously annexed by ordinance.
So moved.
Second by Nash. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Municipal Order 2018-107.
Municipal order correcting an original KRS 81045 filing relating to ordinance number BG 80-38 and adopting a modern and accurate legal description of territory previously annexed by ordinance.
Moved.
Second.
By Nash, second by Perigin. Any other comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. First reading of ordinance BG 2018-28.
Ordinance annexing property by consent. Ordinance annexing a total of approximately 0.629 acre of property located at 570 Lovers Lane with property presently owned by Green Hills Development Partners, LLC, with said territory being contiguous to existing city limits, and further approving an associated economic development annexation incentive agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Nash, second by Williams. Mr. Mizel.
This is a piece of property on the I-65 side of Lovers Lane. Brent Childers is here, can answer any questions. I think this is a residence, 6/10 of an acre that's close to the dentist office, right in there. So, Brent, do you have anything to add?
Will be part of the Green Hills Development Partners, 80-something acres that sits behind it. So they added this in. They've already annexed that. We just need to, they've purchased this, so we're annexing this, and I think it's now going before rezoning as part of their greater development. So it's not just this .269, it's part of an 80-acre development.
Not done on Lovers Lane.
No, I am not done on Lovers Lane. I continue to make a lot of phone calls and emails to try to get a handful more properties, but every one that I get, I'm one step closer to being done on Lovers Lane. So.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I know it's hard work. Any comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Municipal Order 2018-108.
Municipal order approving a job development incentive program employee withholdings credit agreement with Berry Global Incorporated.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Perigin, second by Nash. Mr. Mizel.
At the last, or one of the last Job Development Incentive Program committee meetings, which Commissioner Nash and Commissioner Perigin are part of, we discussed this project. This one is Berry Global Inc. They are up on Williamette Lane, close to the GM factory, GM plant. They are proposing to expand it. I think this is their second expansion. This is the old AEP building, but they're going to do a addition of 2 new blown film extrusion lines, and I think what they do is they make the wrapping for like bottled water, that kind of plastic wrapping. This is a good project. It's $16.5 million capital investment, 20 new jobs, and this is a 10-year KBI 1% incentive for city withholdings, and asking for your all's approval. This one is also announced recently, a public press release.
Comments or questions? Call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Municipal Order 2018-109.
Municipal order approving a job development incentive program employee withholdings credit agreement with Crown Verity USA Incorporated.
Moved.
Second.
Nash, second by Williams. Mr. Mizel.
This is an interesting project. This company heard about us over a flight with a fellow Transpark tenant that told them about Bowling Green. Crown Verity is a manufactures commercial and residential grills, very, very nice grills. And they are going to build a 60,000 square foot facility up in the Transpark, just the other side of the connector road. It's about a $3.6 million project, capital investment. They're going to add 25 jobs over the next 5 years. This is another KBI program, 1% over 10 years that the city would incentivize with city withholdings. Ask for your approval on this one.
Comments or questions?
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Municipal Order 2018-110.
Municipal order approving conveyance and authorizing the mayor to execute quitclaim deed to convey a portion of the property belonging to the City of Bowling Green in Warren County located at 601 Hampton Road to the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet.
So moved.
Second.
Perigin, second by Nash. Mr. Mizel.
This is just a small little sliver of land along Cemetery Road. I'm going to ask Gene to explain the details of this one.
I'll go quickly. Back in about 2000, this property was foreclosed upon by the bank. A couple years later, when it finally got to a master commissioner's sale, the city purchased it. For greenway purposes, if you look at that lot now, there's a nice greenway trail cutting right across the middle of that lot. About the same time that this was going on, DOT, or the Transportation Cabinet, or Department of Highways, what it was at that time, was also negotiating with the property owner to get to obtain this property that we're talking about tonight, which is 1,277 square feet. They had started their action, but had not filed a lis pendens. So when the bank filed their foreclosure action, they didn't pick it up. So Transportation Cabinet was never part of the foreclosure action. So when it was sold, this property was not part of that sale. I mean, we actually bought the whole lot. Now the Transportation Cabinet, my understanding is, I think they probably used this small amount of land already. But they've come and basically asked to clean up their records. They got the judgment from the circuit court here in Warren County, but never got a deed to the property from the original owners. So they was here tonight asking the city to go ahead and deed to them. And if you look at it, there's two little small triangular sections at the end, and a very, very small amount across. I talked to Greg when he first got this. He looked at it as well. There's no impact to our greenways trail or anything else with this conveyance.
Questions? People from Transportation Cabinet who waited through the entire meeting just for this one vote. Sorry to make you wait so long. Any other comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. First reading of ordinance BG 2018-29.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning tracts of land containing 85.329 acres from agriculture to HI Heavy Industrial located on Mitzpah Road, presently owned by the Intermodal Transportation Authority Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
Perigin, second. Recommendation from Planning and Zoning in the Transpark. Are there any comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Last voting item we have a presentation regarding the city's small municipal separate storm water system permit. I think Mr. Powell's going to be here with us tonight, and 8.5 minutes on this side.
8.5?
Yeah.
That's a good goal. So, good evening. I'm here this evening to provide you guys with a brief summary of some recent regulatory changes that are going to impact the work of the Environmental Compliance Division over the course of the next several years, and particularly over the course of the next 6 months. These changes are being brought about by a recent reissuance of our small municipal separate storm sewer system permit, MS4 for short, because it is a mouthful. We've had an MS4 permit since 2003 here at the City of Bowling Green. That thing generally runs its course every 5 years and is reissued. This most recent one was issued in 2010, should have expired in 2015, but for a few reasons it's been administratively continued to now. The primary reason that it's been hanging out there for the extra 3 years is a Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals ruling against the federal EPA regarding the oversight that permit issuing agencies have had over those small MS4 communities. As a result of that, there's some changes in this permit that are going to impact exactly how we do our day-to-day business. This permit's built around what we call minimum control measures, MCMs. Minimum control measures are vague by definition, and what they are categorical requirements wherein we've got to complete so many actions each year so that we stay in compliance with our permit. Our 6 MCMs are public education, public involvement, illicit discharge detection and elimination, construction site runoff control, post-construction site runoff control, and good housekeeping or facilities maintenance. So we've got to come up with a few things that we do in each one of those categories each year so that we're controlling the amount of pollution in our stormwater runoff as much as we possibly can. They're vague for a reason. The same solutions that work in one community might not work in another. Most of the time when I come up here, I talk about karst. You guys are familiar with that. We're in Mississippi and limestone. We have a lot of karst. We wouldn't want to, say, infiltrate the first flush of stormwater, which is what communities across the southeast do that are in Pennsylvania and sandstones and shales. They don't have to worry about driving up the increase of sinkhole frequency by trying to infiltrate, keeping those soils super saturated all the time. So we would use different control measures than they use, and as a result, like I said, communities vary quite a bit from one community to another. As a result, we've got quite a bit of planning that we have to do here at our level. The public education standard that we've got, which is MCM1 for us, in the past, the way that we've proven to the state that we've been doing a good job of that is we've typically counted just our impact or the number of people who would have come into contact with our messaging. So if we put a billboard up on Scottsville Road, we'd have taken the daily traffic count for Scottsville Road, multiplied that out, and told the state, you know, hey, we put our message out here for this many thousand people. Or we may have put out a website, and we'd have counted the number of unique visitors that got, that sort of a thing. This new permit's going to require that we measure not just our observation, not just the number of people who've seen what we do. We're going to have to actually measure some sort of an impact. So that's probably going to look like some pre and post survey work. We'll go out to the community or perhaps to a regulated industry, survey them ahead of a media campaign or an involvement campaign, see what their attitudes and daily actions are, issue a campaign or do some involvement, and then come back after the fact and measure and see what sort of change that we've got. And that's what we're going to be reporting to the state. In our illicit discharge detection and elimination minimum control measure, and I know these are a lot, but essentially what that means is nothing goes into the stormwater except the stormwater. Please don't dump anything out there. For that standard, the new permit references open dumping, which is new. The county has a solid waste coordinator. We're basically going to hitch our wagon to his horse a little bit and use what they're doing inside of our community to achieve compliance, but it's going to require a little bit of a shift in how we do our program. The most drastic change is going to be found inside of this minimum control measure, and that is with regard to the detail and the complexity of the storm sewer system map that we maintain. We're going to have to go out and get public and private best management practices. We're going to have to pick up ditches. We're going to have to pick up a lot more detail in a lot more complex manner what our storm sewer system looks like. You guys are very familiar with the fact that it's not one continuous system of pipes, that it's individualized in each sinkhole basin. That's going to be a tremendous amount of work, and we've got a capital improvement project in this year's budget that's going to look to get that accomplished over the course of the next couple of years and get us into compliance with that. Our construction site runoff control, our standard, basically our maximum extent practicable, which is a standard that they apply to us, how much of it we do, has been 20 to 70 inspections per month over the course of the last several years. That's how many construction sites that we look at. They've issued us a recommended standard with the new permit. We did a little bit of math, taking a look at that recommended standard. If we were to do exactly what they've asked us to do, it'd be 275 inspections per month, or roughly 1.5 every hour. It's not a standard that we're going to be able to get to, even with a proposed expansion of our staff just a bit. So what we're going to do is reach out to the state, talk to them about what exactly it is that we have, maybe develop some criteria, and work with them to develop a maximum extent practicable for our program. Like we said in the very beginning, not every community looks the same. That's probably going to be, for a community that's experiencing the tremendous growth that we are, it's not a standard that we can maintain that they've asked us for. With regard to post-construction site runoff, which is essentially installing something during the course of developing or redeveloping a site that's going to treat the stormwater runoff from that site from this point forward, we've actually got a little bit of good news maybe. That's been very, very ill-defined to this point, and they've provided a little bit more criteria for us to work with. We're going to need to do some data analysis, some precipitation analysis, some meteorological record keeping and searching, but we think there may be some room in there to expand our selection of practices, maybe offer a few more choices to our development community, and there may be even some opportunity to slow down or shrink our treatment levels. So the volume of water to be treated or the rate of water to be treated, we may be able to back those up just a little bit and still stay in compliance, which will decrease the cost for developing and redeveloping here in the community. One of the final ones is good housekeeping, municipal operations. There is a new requirement with this upcoming permit, or excuse me, with the permit that was issued in May, that we now have to have an inventory of all of our facilities, all of the practices that we have at those facilities, and any potential impact that those facilities may have on stormwater quality, on stormwater runoff quality. We're going to be working closely with the proposed facilities coordinator on this, basically to develop a method and a means for keeping track of what's going on and where, and an inspection procedure so that we can gather that information annually, roll that into our annual report, and make sure that that's taken care of. And that does include streets, which is a little bit odd. One final thing I'd like to mention is with regard to the actual programs and practices is a monitoring plan. Never before have any of the permits that we've been issued required us to monitor our streams. But this new permit does. We are required to actually go out and gather data about the quality of the stream that we discharge our stormwater to. We anticipated this, so we actually have a stormwater quality monitoring program. You guys have heard me talk about it before. We have several real-time water quality monitoring stations that are looking at water all the time. That data is available via the internet, and we have a little bit of an older system where we've been manually monitoring 9 sites quarterly for several years. Our big distinction here is going to be that we're going to need to write all that into a written program, take that to the state, have them approve it. My personal opinion is that we're going to be in really good shape. It's just a matter of legitimizing the things that we're already doing. And with that legitimization, we also have what we call the Stormwater Quality Management Plan. For each one of these MCMs, for each one of the things that we do, we need to be able to justify that that was the maximum extent practicable. We need to be able to show anyone who comes to inspect our program that we have done what is expected of us within this vague, categorization of minimum control measures. And we do that by documenting everything with a lot of guidance, with a lot of policies and procedures, with ordinances and various things and so on. It amounts to several thousand pages. This permit requires that we fully revise that and bring that into compliance with this new permit in 180 days from the May 1 issuance date. So we're going to try to get that done by October. It's a tremendous task. We think we're up to it. We're going to go after it. But as that time draws near, if we have to have some help, I'm sure we'll be back to see you. But most of it has been looked at over the course of several years. About every other year, I'll try to bite off a big chunk of it and make sure that it's been modernized, make sure that it's up to speed. Our development community is one of our biggest clients, so we're constantly looking to make sure that we have as many options in there as they need to make sure that their jobs are not hampered by our efforts to stay in compliance. In summary, we've got a lot of work to do. We've got to have a lot of it done by October. We're not alone in this. There are 143 other Phase 2 communities in the state of Kentucky. However, we are the largest. So that in terms of population, we are the largest small MS4 in Kentucky. Lexington and Louisville are in a different category than us, so they don't count. And SD1 is in a co-permittee relationship, which is Southern Cincinnati, Erlanger, Florence, and all those guys. They all stand alone. So we kind of stand out. We try to assist all of the other MS4s in the community as much as we can. We figure the more that they look like us, the safer we all are. And with that, I'll close and answer any questions that you guys have.
A lot of administrative work to get done.
A lot of paperwork. I missed it by 1:12.
So,
Thank you all for your time.
thank you, Matt. I know it's hard work. We appreciate all that you're doing there. Let me get my agenda out here. I think That's the end of the regular meeting. We have only one public commenter, so Jennifer, you'd like to come up and make your statement again? Go ahead.
My name is Jennifer Moreland. I live at 1367 Clay Street. Okay, what I want to talk about is the fact that I called Louisville, okay, and I asked them how much is a peddler license, okay, and they said $25. Now, Bowling Green is growing, and Louisville, I think Bowling Green is smaller than Louisville. I think, does anybody know?
Bowling Green is much smaller than
Louisville. So, if Louisville is bigger, how come our peddler license are more expensive? You know, that doesn't make sense, because we should be doing what Louisville is doing and reducing that peddler license to, if not, try to get a discount for the bikers and let them have a discount, because they've been helping this community for the longest time, and we should give back, you know? And then on top of it, I'm getting ready for a seminar for suicide prevention in July, and I would like for one of you to help me with it, to be there to support people who are dealing with suicide. So if anybody's interested, let me know. And then I'm doing this without a speech. And I'm doing this without a speech because I want them to know that I'm doing this in my heart. I'm doing this because I believe in Bowling Green. And you should stand up and say, these people deserve a chance. You know, these people deserve a chance to start their business and not worry about how expensive a peddler license is. And you should do the right thing and fight for the peddler license. You should. It's the right thing to do. And I forgot what it's called. What I believe in, the Fairness Act, believe in that too. You know, I know it's asking a lot because you're against it, but it would be nice for you to say, read what Slim says and agree, you know, change your mind. It would be nice for you to stand up. All right.
Your time has
Bye.
expired. Any comments, questions from the panel? Our next scheduled meeting is July 3rd. However, we may choose to.
June 19th. June 19th is our next meeting.
because they don't know.